This is an update to the Mactan Cebu International Airport arrival guide for overseas Filipino workers, returning overseas Filipinos, and foreign nationals who are arriving in Cebu coming from abroad. This video will explain the testing and quarantine procedures for MCIA arrivals, including the new IATF GREEN Lane implemented starting October 14, 2021. Please stay tuned and watch the video to know more. Welcome to Denzi TV. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you receive updates as they are posted. This arrival guide is for the following passengers: overseas Filipino workers, returning overseas Filipinos, and eligible foreign nationals. If you want to see the complete list of eligible foreign nationals who are allowed to travel to the Philippines, check the video card at the top right corner of this video or check the link in the description. This arrival guide video will discuss the things that you need to prepare, starting with the general guidelines and pre-flight preparations, arrival procedures, up until you go home. Let's start with the general guidelines. All international passengers arriving at Mactan Cebu International Airport shall observe the applicable arrival protocols in adherence to IATF resolutions. The applicable mandatory RT-PCR testing and quarantine protocols shall depend on the three requirements: classification of the country of origin, verifiable vaccination status, and valid documents and approval from the Bureau of Quarantine. Here are the guidelines for Green Lane for travelers coming from countries on the green list. Let's start with fully vaccinated travelers carrying a negative RT-PCR test result taken 72 hours before departure to Cebu. You will undergo this process: swab upon arrival, no quarantine or no facility-based quarantine, and just self-monitoring afterwards. For travelers without negative RT-PCR test result, you will undergo swab upon arrival, 1 to 2 days quarantine until the release of your RT-PCR test result, and then self-monitoring afterwards. Next, we have the unvaccinated, partially vaccinated, and unverifiable vaccination status. Here's the process: swab upon arrival, 6 days quarantine, second swab on the 5th day, and self-monitoring afterwards. For a list of green countries, check the playlist at the top right corner of this video. The playlist will contain the most updated list of green countries as information becomes available. Next, we have the guidelines for the yellow lane, travelers from the non-green or non-red countries. Let's start with the fully vaccinated travelers. You will undergo swab upon arrival, 6 days of quarantine, second swab will be on the 5th day, and 4 days home quarantine to complete the 10 days. For the unvaccinated and other cases, swab upon arrival, 8 days quarantine, second swab on the 7th day, and 6 days home quarantine to complete the 14 days. And lastly, we have the red lane. This is for travelers from the red list of countries, which are supposed to be just repatriates only. And regardless of your vaccination status, all of you will follow the same procedure: swab upon arrival, 10 days facility-based quarantine, second swab on the 7th day, and 4 days home quarantine. All arriving passengers must complete the online MCIA passenger arrival registration form within 5 days before the scheduled arrival date at the airport. Take note of the unique barcode or travel reference number or TRN sent to your email address upon completion of the form. Present the necessary travel documents upon check-in. During the flight, accomplish the following forms: health declaration form and the arrival card. Upon arrival, undergo required briefing by the Bureau of Quarantine. Proceed to the validation counter and present the following: barcode, TRN, passport, boarding pass, health declaration form, and hotel reference booking. Keep the printed barcode until the end of your scheduled swab test. Proceed to thermal scanning by the BOQ, and remember to temporarily take off your caps, eyewear, and face shield when undergoing thermal scan. Proceed to the immigration counter for clearance and submit the immigration arrival card. Proceed to the counters at the Arrival Reclaim Hall for OFWs, OWA counter for hotel accommodation assignment, and for returning overseas Filipinos and foreign nationals, proceed to the swabbing area. All swab tests shall be administered by the Department of Health Region 7. Non-Filipinos pay 901 pesos for the test. Next, proceed to the assigned reclaim belt to claim your baggage and wait at your designated areas. Proceed to customs counter for clearance, and proceed to your designated vehicle with your respective agency representative for hotel or quarantine accommodation drop-off. At your quarantine hotel, check in and wait for the schedule of your test. If you develop COVID-19 symptoms at any time before your scheduled test, please inform the hotel you are staying in so a medical or Bureau of Quarantine officer can assess and check up on you immediately. Only the second RT-PCR swab test result taken on the 5th or 7th day shall be released via the email address provided in the online registration form. Going home procedures: if you test positive of COVID-19, the Bureau of Quarantine shall transfer you to a designated hospital for further medical management. If swab test result is negative, the passenger will receive the test result via email from the Bureau of Quarantine. Next, coordinate with your LGU for further instructions on transport and specific quarantine protocols. And that is the MCIA Arrival Guide with the new IATF GREEN Lane implementation. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you like the content of this channel, please remember to subscribe. And don't forget to check out all the other videos as well.